Are you thinking about moving to Portland, but you don't actually want to live in Portland? If so, you may want to stay tuned for this video. Hey everyone, for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Joe Skipper and I'm the owner of Skipper Realty Group, brokered by eXp Realty. I work and live in the suburbs of Portland and serve clients all over the Willamette Valley. So if you're thinking of moving within this area or you're moving to this area, my page is the one to subscribe to. I regularly go over the latest real estate topics and trends so that you can make informed decisions as a buyer or a seller. But I also do videos like this that go over particular areas in particular cities so that if you can get an idea of what community is like before you make a move. And speaking of that, if you are wanting me to cover a specific town or neighborhood that I haven't covered yet, comment below or reach out to me directly and I can get you some information, or it may be featured in the next upcoming video. So like and subscribe to my page and let's get moving. Today we're going to talk about a really unique and cool neighborhood in Wilsonville, Oregon. So whether you're relocating within the city of Wilsonville or you're moving here for the first time, there's one thing that I know for sure. This community has something for really everyone that's out there. And I'm going to take you through one of Wilsonville's most sought after neighborhoods, Arbor Crossing, and compare it to two of the city's other top spots, the Meadows neighborhood and Morgan Farm. By the end, you'll not only know which neighborhood may fit your lifestyle, but you'll also get insiders' tips on why Wilsonville is one of Oregon's best suburb cities of Portland, in my humble opinion. But let's dive in. Before we get into the specifics of the neighborhood, though, we need to cover a little bit about the city of Wilsonville, what the vibe is like, the education, and all the other possibly important items that you may need to know prior to moving. So Wilsonville is a town of about 26,000 residents, so it's not too big compared to Portland, and Wilsonville still has a small town feel to most of the residents who live here. Now that's kind of what makes it unique and kind of a secret gem, because Wilsonville, from an outsider perspective, may seem like more or less an interstate city, because it does basically get split in half by Interstate 5. Now that's our main thoroughfare from Mexico all the way up to Canada. So you can stop off the highway on your road trip, grab some fast food, and be right on your way. It's not until you actually dive into the city and you live in the city that you see how the town actually feels. So once you are off the highway, the city of Wilsonville is known for being a family-friendly and safe community. The city prides itself on its acres of walking and jogging paths, parks, and it also sits on the Willamette River. So fishing, boating, kayaking, and swimming are all accessible from the city of Wilsonville. And due to the location of Wilsonville being just south of Portland, the city also sits in a really convenient location for wine country. Not only is it less than 50 minutes to places like Dundee and Carlton, which are big wine communities, but there are also a ton of wineries within or near the city that you can get to in less than 10 minutes. Wilsonville also has all the other amenities needed for groceries and eating. The one thing that they are lacking, in my opinion, is the food situation. They have plenty of food and places to eat, don't get me wrong, but Wilsonville just lacks the uniqueness or the locally owned places that other nearby cities offer. So if you're needing a city where you can walk to your local restaurant to eat, you may want another town. But if you're okay with the short drive to those places, then living in Wilsonville could fit your list. If schooling is important to you, then Wilsonville may be one of your best choices to live as a suburb of Portland. The city is within the Westland-Wilsonville School District, which is one of the top school districts in the state. They have one primary high school, Wilsonville High, with another one it's more of a specific learning school called Riverside High School. Both are top high schools and the kids consistently score in some of the highest percentages within the state. Sports-wise as well, they do just as well at the high school level. The football program is constantly ranked in the top 5, and the most other sports are up there, if not in the top as well. So for schooling, Wilsonville is a great place to live. Now on to the traffic. Now that's a bit of an issue for sure. Wilsonville is bisected by Interstate 5, which is cool because it's easy access to Salem down south and Portland to the north. The problem with it is that the traffic gets really backed up on I-5, which in turn clogs some of the Wilsonville streets with people trying to get around it. It's nothing crazy, but at 5 p.m. on a Friday, you may have to sit for a bit to get onto I-5. Now, I say that the side streets get slow, but it's all relative. There are plenty of ways to get around Wilsonville without hitting the main streets. You just have to know where to go. So personally, I don't think it's as big of an issue as some may think, but it truly can be annoying to get stuck in traffic here. But that's really a general overview of the city. Now let's get into the real estate world here. You can buy condos and apartments here in Wilsonville around the $300,000 range, and you can buy a home on the river here for upwards of $3 million or more. So there's a home there for any price range you have. Having said that, Wilsonville does have a higher than average price, and this month it was about $655,000 for a single family home. That floats up and down a bit month to month, but is still more than Oregon's average. Wilsonville is primarily made up of planned communities in the neighborhoods like Villebois on the west side, And the new construction Frog Pond homes on the east side are master plan developments. But they do have a bunch of unique and fun options for homes, ages, yard sizes, and more depending on what you end up looking for. So for example, the Charbonneau community on the south side of Wilsonville, it has a 27-hole golf course going through it where owners regularly are driving around on their golf carts to get to and from various parts of that community. Villebois is a large community on the west side of town that has a range of homes from apartments to large million-dollar homes. It's an extremely dog-friendly community with a ton of parks and trails to walk about. But we aren't here to talk about Villebois. I will probably do that in another video, so let's move on to the Arbor Crossing on the east side of Wilsonville. So Arbor Crossing is a really quiet, cool neighborhood that sits near the town center loop and really close to the main schools in Wilsonville, Beckman Creek Primary, Meridian Creek Middle School, and Wilsonville High School. It also sits right across the street from Morgan Farm and adjacent to the Meadows neighborhood. The roads within this neighborhood aren't very busy, and it's one of those communities where the only people really that come through there are the ones that live or visit there. There's only one way in and one way out, so you don't see traffic cutting through the neighborhood to say get to another part of town or anything like that. They have a park right in the center of the community that is technically a public park, but really because of the location is really used by the Arbor community. So it's a really cool place to live if you want quiet streets where kids can play and a semi-private park to play in as well. But as to the houses themselves, Arbor Crossing was built in the mid-2000s primarily by Arbor Custom Homes. They have a craftsman style with Northwest vibes, so think front porches, gables, and stone layouts. Most of the homes in there are two-story single-family homes with a range of square footage from about 2,500 square feet to about 3,500 square feet. Now, even though they were built in the mid-2000s, they were built a bit ahead of their time back then. So during their construction, most of them have open room layouts, high ceilings, and some have primary suites on the main floor, which we all currently like now. The yards aren't too crazy of a size, but compared to new construction, they're big. The lots are around 4,000 to 6,000 square feet. As to the pricing, most of the homes in there range from about $700,000 to $900,000, depending on the location and the size of the home. Now, the neighborhood doesn't see a high turnover, so homes are rare here, which also means the community is pretty tight-knit. Lots of families here and a good community of homes. So let's compare it to two neighborhoods nearby to see what may be the right fit for you, or maybe Arbor Crossing is. So not directly across the street, but a very short walk are the new construction homes of Stonebridge, Ichijo, and Pulte Homes. They're currently building right now, and the price range of homes here starts around $700,000, but it can quickly get above $1 million, depending on the builder and the size of the home. This community is new, so with new homes, you aren't going to generally get a huge yard, and you'll get all the homes looking somewhat similar with a slight variance within them. I love Frog Pond, so it's not a knock on them. They have great builders in there, and if you want new, this is definitely the place to go. But directly across the street from Arbor Crossing is the neighborhood of Morgan Farms. These homes were constructed around 2018 to 2019, so you'll see slightly newer vibes with these homes compared to Arbor. They are really close to a new grade school which is currently being built, so that may be a draw to some of you or a negative to others. They have more contemporary Northwest designs, and they do have mostly two-story detached homes there with a few single-level homes mixed in. You're going to see a lot more of an open floor plan type concepts with these homes, as that was the beginning of that new trend. So something to think about if you like that sort of thing. It's a really young neighborhood and it's still growing, so though you do have a park or two, it's still growing, and you can tell because there is a lot of construction going on in this area. Both the schools being built and the improvement of Beckman Creek Road are great developments, but currently with construction going on, it can be a little noisy sometimes. So moving on to the Meadows community, which is basically attached by a walkway to Arbor Crossing. Now these are older homes, they're built all in the 1990s, and there are roughly about 300 homes in this community. Now this neighborhood has a mix of two-story and one-story homes, and because it was built in the 90s, you're going to have much bigger yards comparably than the newer homes in Arbor. Now the uniqueness of the homes also stand out. As homes built in the 90s generally, they had a little bit more diversity in the looks, the sizes, and the shapes. The HOA there really does take care of the community, and the homes there are well cared for, even though they are built in the 90s. But with a 90s home, you run the continuum of datedness of the interior. Some of the homes have been completely remodeled, and some have not seen a contractor inside since the 90s. So you have to take a look at what you want to deal with when looking at these homes. They're well constructed though, so most of the time it should only be a cosmetic change that you would need to make. These homes are slightly closer to the schools than Arbor, but again, Arbor's connected to this neighborhood by a walkway, so it's not crazy different. The homes sell for around $700,000 at the lower end, all the way up to above $1 million for homes on Cascade Loop, which is inside that community and has homes that back to green space much larger than the rest of the community. So there you have it. I hope this information on Arbor Crossing can give you a good idea of what the community and what it entails. I have videos on other neighborhoods throughout Wilsonville, including Frog Pond and Meadows. So if you're interested, check out my videos on YouTube to get the latest on those particular neighborhoods. And if you want to know more about the community or others in Wilsonville, comment below or reach out to me directly and we can chat about what you're looking for specifically. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with the latest on the housing market and to find community videos like this one on the regular. Thanks, guys.